Hey guys, I'm Coral. Welcome back to my channel. I'm in a different location today because there was a giant buzzing, very loud insect in the room I usually film in, and I'm too scared to be in there right now. Insects freak me out. So I'm here today with my wrap up for June. And I have to say, it was a pretty good reading month. I ended up finishing 10 books altogether. I think that might be the most I've read in a month. Not pages wise, but number of books. I think this is my biggest month. I ended up reading 2,883 pages altogether, which is, I think, average. I read 2 fantasy books, 7 horror books, and 1 thriller. I read 8 novels and 2 novellas. 9 of them were adult books and 1 was young adult. And as far as ratings go, I had 2 2-star books, 2 3-star books, a 3.5-star book, 4 4-star books, and 1 5-star book. So pretty spread out. Nothing completely trash, but a couple that were a little bit disappointing. So we'll get into that though. So in no particular order, I finished, finally, The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. This is a big, chunky fantasy book. This is the start to a series, the Mistborn series. And this is about a kind of a straight urchin who's had to make a living basically by being a thief. So she's worked with teams, she's worked by herself, she's worked with her brother, basically all her life. So she ends up getting in contact with, I don't know, she's kind of picked up by a bigger crime syndicate, sort of, and she finds out that she is Mistborn, which is somebody who can swallow different sorts of metal, take different sorts of metal from the environment and use them for different things. Like, I'll have to look it up, 'cause, it's different things like you can pull and push on things to like make yourself move. Tin will enhance your senses if you swallow it. Pewter will enhance your physical abilities. You can soothe emotions with brass and just things like that. So she kind of, I don't know, she like knew that she could kind of soothe people a little bit, just like keep them calm, but she never really realized how she could do that, or that she wasn't actually alone in being able to do that. So that's where the story starts out. It ends up being kind of a heist book, but I really liked it. I gave this 5 stars. I liked Vin a lot, and I really liked some of the other characters that she comes across in this book. I really love the people. They become kind of a family, this like crime family that she has. They're all good people, and they're fighting for a good cause because they're trying to overthrow this very oppressive empire. So, book 1 ended. It was in a kind of a hard way, so I'm really looking forward to getting to book 2 soon. The next one here I have is I Know You Know by Gilly Macmillan. This is a thriller that I read for Buzzword-a-thon. I ended up giving this 3 stars. I thought it was just okay. I'm actually not going to give you a full synopsis here, a full summary here, because I have already done that in my Buzzword-a-thon vlog. I will leave a link to that up at the top if you'd really like to know. But I thought it was just okay. It was kind of a little too police procedurally for me. Let's see, what else? I also read If You See Her by Ania Ahlborn for the Buzzword-a-thon. So if you want a full summary of that, it will be up there as well. In my wrap up, my Buzzword-a-thon vlog, I mean, I gave this 3 stars as well. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's 2.5 stars actually. I don't know. This one was just very disappointing to me because previously I've loved everything I've read by Ania Ahlborn, and this one just didn't hit the mark. There were some good creepy parts, but I don't know. It just didn't have... I didn't feel like the characters or the plot were very strong. I felt like there was one character in here that was just really, I don't know, I didn't understand what her motivations were, why she was so crabby and grumpy all the time. I don't know. But yeah, full summary in my readathon vlog. I also finished The Dark Half by Stephen King this month. This is my second time reading it, and apparently I liked it better than the first time because on my Goodreads it was rated as a 3, and I bumped that up to a 4 after reading this. So this is 4 stars for me. This is the story of a writer named Thad Beaumont, and he is not a super popular author. However, he has a pen name, George Stark, who is a very popular author. And after he decides to kind of put the George Stark part of his life to rest, he decides to quit writing as George Stark, there are these murders happening. And for some reason, Thad Beaumont thinks that maybe George Stark isn't put away like he thought he was. So it's a very good book. George Stark is such a great character. He's kind of cheesy in that way that King does cheesy things. It's not like, it's like cheesy but not annoying, not obnoxious, you know what I mean? It's just like good cheesy, and I really liked this book a lot. I also read this little novella. This is The Hatch by Kelli Owen, and I ended up rating this 2 stars. I think the biggest problem here is that when I bought this, it didn't say anything about like a series or anything, but then when I got it, it says the standalone sequel to Waiting Out Winter, and I was like, uh-oh. I haven't read Waiting Out Winter, but since it said it was a standalone, I gave it a try, and I really wish I wouldn't have. I kind of wish now that I had read Waiting for Winter or Waiting Out Winter, because I'm pretty sure the prologue here just tells you everything that happened in that book. And then it picks up from there, and I just couldn't get connected to the characters. I didn't really care about what was happening to them, and I think that's because I didn't read Waiting Out Winter. And now I won't ever because I know what happens. So I don't know why this is marketed as a standalone sequel. It kind of sucks. So 2 stars. I also finished Wicked Saints by Emily Duncan this month. This is a young adult fantasy. This is the beginning of a series as well. This is about a girl named Nadia who has this special power. She can speak to the saints and they can grant her their powers for a limited amount of time, I guess. And so being endowed with this ability, she feels responsible for bringing the religion back to her country, which is divided. I'm not really sure actually how the geography of this worked out. But it's like, I don't know, I guess 2 different countries that have been warring with each other, and one of the countries has forsaken religion entirely. So Nadia feels like she has to bring religion back to that country. The other country, what was it? Trinavia has been trying to kill people from her country, the Kalyazin, and so there's like that aspect to it, and I don't know. I felt like, I don't know. My biggest issue here is with the characters, I think. And I think this story could have been very good. There is like this blood magic in it. There are like heretics, which I just love anyways, like in any book pretty much. There's this, I don't know how to describe them really, like these blood magic users called the Vultures who are in Trinavia, and they kind of have a standing with the court in Trinavia. So there's like this political aspect, and you know, when politics and religion mix, that's never very good. So it had some really interesting dynamics, but the characters were just so weak for me. The main character, I didn't like that she just like never questioned what the saints wanted her to do. She was just very like, this is what I do, and like, I don't know why I do it, but I'm gonna do it. And I didn't like that. There's another character that she meets who it's just set up very obviously that they're gonna fall in love, and I hate that. I felt like the author tried to make it a hate to love relationship, which typically I do really enjoy, but this one was just so obvious, and it's like, you didn't really give us an opportunity for us, the audience, to hate this character. It's just like we know that the main character is supposed to hate him for some reason, but that's not hate to love, okay? And I don't know, there's just, I didn't understand what happened in the ending. I have no fucking idea. Like, I went over and I read over the last couple chapters like 3 times, like thinking that I missed something that would like clue me into what was going on, but I didn't understand it. And you know what? I'm freaking disappointed, because like I said, I felt like this had such interesting dynamics. I don't know, the world building was kind of flat, but like it could have been better. It was a really interesting like base for a good story, and I don't know what happened. And I'd want to say that maybe I'd try out the sequel to this, because like I said, this is going to be a series, but like, what if what if it doesn't get better though? What if it's just like this again? And then I'd be super disappointed. So I don't know. The author's gonna have to sell me on that one. That's really disappointing. I also read The Nest by Gregory A. Douglas. This is one of the reprints that Valancourt Books has done for the Paperbacks in Hell. And The Nest is about these cockroaches that somehow start being able to like communicate better with each other. They are a little bit bigger than normal, their jaws are stronger than normal, and they start attacking people on this like tiny Cape Cod island. I thought that some parts of this book were very good. It was gory, there was lots of body horror, which I love, but like, I don't know, half, maybe even more of this book was like a lot of scientific like blug, and the characters just like talking to each other all the time, and I appreciate the science because that makes it seem more realistic, you know what I mean? But I just think that maybe there didn't have to be quite so much of it. I really think that this is worth trying out because, like I said, there is some really good parts in here. There was actually some parts that I read out loud to my husband because I was so impressed with it. And like, I don't normally do that. And also like, he doesn't normally want to hear it. So I like was so impressed by them, but that I was like, hey, I want to read this to you. So definitely give it a try for yourself. But be forewarned that there are some sloggy parts, so you just have to like bear through it and just, I don't know, get through it. And it does get better. And the ending was good too, so let's see. I also read Tribesmen by Adam Cesare. This is kind of a take on the cannibal Holocaust type movies from the 70s and 80s. Maybe not 70s, maybe it's just the 80s. Anyways, this is a tiny little book that packed a punch. I ended up rating this 4 stars. It is about a small-time movie crew who goes to shoot a movie on an island. I take it the director has never been there. He just expects kind of like indigenous people to be there and to help them and like also be okay with being in this movie possibly. And they get there and it's like completely uninhabited. And there's like a supernatural thing here. There's like cannibalism. There's a really great final girl. And yeah, like I said, it's short. I don't want to give too much of it away, but it's good. There was actually a part in this that like made my stomach turn, and I had to like close the book a little bit and like take a deep couple breaths before getting back into it. So lots of gore, and it's good. I also finished Bedbugs by Ben H. Winters this month. This was a good little book. I ended up giving it 4 stars. It's about this family in New York who have kind of outgrown their living space. They're looking for a bigger apartment, and they're having a hard time though. It's expensive. They can't find anything in a good neighborhood until they find something in Brooklyn for like cheaper than it should be. And as we know, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. And that's exactly what happens in this book. So they move into this place, and right away they kind of have been hearing rumors, other people talking about it, things on the news about places in New York being infested by bedbugs. And the main character in this book is the wife of the couple, Susan, and she has some issues with anxiety, which really comes into play when she thinks she starts seeing bedbugs in their new apartment. So I think that the less you know about this one is the better. It was very creepy. It was very, very creepy. But I will say that there was a supernatural aspect to this that I didn't really appreciate, and I really thought that the book would have been stronger without it. But I definitely think you should still read it. This was a great book, especially if you like to be creeped out by bugs. And look at this. Ew. I don't even want to touch this page. Okay, the last book I read was The Graveyard Apartment by Mariko Koike, and this is an older book. I believe this was published in the 80s, but it was translated recently, like maybe 2013 or 14. I can't remember. I don't have a physical copy with me right now because I borrowed it from somebody. So here's a picture of it, but I can't remember exactly when it was published in the US. But I thought this was really good. I ended up giving it 4 stars. Let's see, what did I like about it? It very much read like an Asian horror film, which I love. It was very slow developing, with like little pops of like really very creepy parts, and then it would like be kind of slow again, and like there was lots of build up and like dread, and the ending was very bleak, and I thought it was great. And I didn't tell you what it's about. I always do this. This is about a young family, a husband, wife, and their daughter. She's in kindergarten, so she must be around 5, and they move into this beautiful luxury apartment building, and it's cheap, and there aren't very many people living in it. It's kind of in a side of Tokyo, a part of Tokyo, I believe, that's just not as developed. And the only drawback is that it's right beside a graveyard, which is kind of, I think in our culture, that's less of a big deal than it is to people in Japan. So it's like, I don't want to say taboo, that's not quite the right word, but there's a lot of superstition around it maybe. So They suck it up though, because it's a good price. It's a great sized apartment. Very comfortable luxury apartments, you know. They have storage in the basement, and they try to make the best of it because they want to make it work. And there's just some very strange occurrences that start happening to this family, and it's like small things at first. But like I said, there's a lot of buildup, and like I said, the ending is very bleak, and I really, really liked it. But like I said, it is slow going. So I would say if you're a fan of Asian horror films, I bet you would like this. Because like I said, it was very reminiscent of the same pacing that I see in a lot of those. But if you just need things to be like bam, 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 maybe this isn't one for you. But I mean, you can always try it out. I thought it was good. I give it 4 stars. That's it. That's what I read this month. Those are my 10 books. Thank you for watching. That's all I have for you. I will see you again in another video very soon. But until then, I will see you later.